The Johnson Board of Trustees is hereby called to order at 7 p.m. We'll take a roll call. Ms. Shaw? Here. Mr. Flores?
Present.
Ms. Macias?
Present and welcome.
Mr. LaFoyle?
Welcome.
Dr. Salinas?
Good evening.
I'm Steve Sauer, I'm Board President, and Dr. Montoya, our Superintendent.
Present.
Thank you. Will you all please rise for an invocation by Dr. Montoya, followed by a presentation to callers from the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear Lord, we thank you for the ability to come together in a positive way to create an atmosphere to help our students, our staff, and our community. Our business has always been about helping students and helping them succeed and move on in their life, and we thank you for that opportunity that you give each one of us. We also thank you for everything you have done for our families, and we ask that you continue to take care of us tonight. We pray to the Lord. Amen.
Amen.
I'd like to introduce to you our pledge leader for tonight. He is Cruz Vasquez. Cruz, come on up here to the microphone. He is a fifth grader from Millers Point Elementary. Cruz is in the safety patrol and involved in the Writing Ambassadors Club. He enjoys reading, writing, singing, and cooking. When he says he grows up, he would like to be a school counselor because he wants to make a difference in people's lives. Let's join Cruz in the Pledge of Allegiance to the U.S. and Texas flags.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Please be seated. We got presentations.
Let's give Cruz a hand for a nice job. Board members, if you'll come on around so we can take a picture here. I'd also like to introduce and recognize our color guard for tonight, coming from Judson High School. Judson High School Junior ROTC, Cadet Captain Brandon Bowlen, Cadet First Lieutenant Roberto Colon, Cadet First Lieutenant Carlos Perez, and Cadet First Lieutenant Dominique Simpson. They are under the direction of retired Master Sergeant Timothy Netters. Now, our first recognition is coming from the counseling department. Counseling, of course, is a vital part of providing students with the tools that they need to be successful in the classroom. And one person who has been proactive in leading the JIS department in an innovative way and that has garnered attention around the state as well as around the country. Mr. Ernest Cox, the district's Director of Guidance and Counseling, has been selected to receive the 2015 Texas Counseling Association's Outstanding Counselor Award. To celebrate his positive contributions to the profession, he'll be formally recognized and presented with an award on Thursday, November 5th, 2015, at the TCA's awards ceremony during the 59th Annual Professional Growth Conference in Corpus Christi, Texas. Our next recognition is from the Judson High School Athletic Department. And I'm hoping that Coach, there she is, I see you there. This coach has been a mentor and a coach for her teams over the years. That has brought together some great team chemistry as of late, as the U.S. Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association has named Coach Renee Gerbich as the 2015 Girls High School Track and Field Coach of the Year in Texas. Now, this honor is based on the performance of the Judson High School girls track and field team throughout the 2015 season and as a reflection of the hard work and dedication of the student athletes and coaching staff. You may remember that the girls track team not only won the state track championship last year, but they won it the last 2 years in a row. And our next recognition comes from Judson High School. We always want to encourage and foster student leadership at any level, and that's what this is all about. This student spent part of her summer attending a Skills USA Leadership Conference at Canyon of the Lakes of Burnet, Texas, honing skills in parliamentary procedures, officer duties, public speaking, and how to run a meeting. Because of this, the skills of Eliana Parada showed at this conference, she has been picked as District Secretary and Treasurer for District 11 and was picked to attend the Washington Leadership and Training Institute in Washington, D.C. this past September. Congratulations. And her proud instructor is here on the front row taking pictures as well, Mr. Julian Acevedo. Now, our next recognition comes from each of our campuses, and I'm not sure whether our principals were really expecting this or not, but Texas Governor Greg Abbott has proclaimed October 2015 as Principals Month in Texas. In honor of our principals and assistant principals, we'd like to ask that if you are a principal or an assistant principal, please stand to be recognized, or if you're already standing, just like wave your hand there. All right, now Dr. Montoya has a few words that he would like to say in reference to some special students here this evening.
Every board meeting, we select a group of student leaders from our secondary schools. We ask them to come to a meeting and observe and learn, because these will be our future leaders in this community and the state of Texas. And these are very special, and we want to recognize them tonight. So, Mr. Linscomb.
All righty. Now, hopefully all of these students are here this evening. If they are not, then we'll simply just move on. But from Judson High School, Rihanna Guzman. Is she here? Okay. Also from Judson High School, Alejandra Villarreal. Now we have certificates. Why don't you come on up here and get your certificate, and then as a group, y'all will all take a group picture here with the board. There you go. Hannah Leek from Wagner High School. Brad Kessler from Judson Learning Academy. From Kitty Hawk Middle School, Danielle Hitchens. From JECA, Judson Early College Academy, Zen Nguyen. Also coming from JECA is David Santiano. Also from JECA is Sandra Garcia. Is she here? Okay. Also from JECA, JC de la Munth. Sorry, I probably butchered that. And also Garrett Rokas. Thank you very much. Go ahead and take a picture there with the board. Thank you very much for being here this evening and participating. And those are this evening's board recognitions.
I'm very pleased you have taken time to join us this evening. As the Judson Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals and policies and oversee the management of the district. We are responsible for approving budgets, contracts, personal appointments, and to listen to reports from the superintendent. We are not here to make administrative or management decisions pertaining to the daily operation of the district. This is the responsibility of the superintendent. In compliance with state government code and open meetings, tonight's agenda has been appropriately posted. This is a meeting in the public, not a meeting of the public. As our guests, you are welcome to observe and listen. These proceedings are being video and audio recorded and will become part of the Judson Permanent Legal Record. In order that the tape adequately reflects the proceedings, please silence your mobile phones and refrain from talking while others are speaking. Since it's legally mandated that these proceedings are recorded accurately, I may ask for order periodically should I notice disruptions or interfering with our recording capacities. Thank you. Okay, I know there's a lot of people here tonight. Let me read this. We'll get started. This is acknowledgement of visitors and citizens to be heard. This is a time provided for citizens to address the board on issues or concerns. A person may speak one time for a period of 3 minutes. Presentations shall be informative only. No board action will be taken. A complaint or charge against an officer or employee of the district is not allowed in open session. Complaints and concerns for which other resolution channels are provided shall be directed through those channels. The presiding officer shall determine whether a person who wishes to address the board has attempted to solve a matter administratively. If not, the person shall be directed to the appropriate policy to seek resolutions before bringing the matter to the board as a another meeting. Citizens wishing to receive a response or concerns presented to the board must provide a written documentation. The board shall not deliberate or decide regarding any subject that is not included on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. Okay, we got a whole lot of people want to speak tonight. 3 minutes. Please refrain from personal attacks on anybody. Please keep it professional. Most of the emails I've gotten have been very professional. We're all entitled to our opinions, so let's get started and get moving. Everybody okay with that? First, Patty Connor, appreciation. Ms. Connor?
Good evening, Board, Superintendent, Dr. Montoy. Characteristic traits in a leader. And I just want to list a few of these. Character traits in a leader, first would begin with leadership, of course, and then of integrity. Without a responsible and dedicated leader, employees have no focus or purpose. Other traits that rank high on this list would be honesty and trustworthiness, loyalty, consistency, reliable, patient, personable, courage to deal with individuals as one and as of a group. Also fair, friendly, authentic, committed, compassionate, devoted to making the department and the employees and the district that one could be proud of. Someone who treats others with respect and don't show favoritism. Being optimistic and seeing this department grow and prosper. One who accepts change in procedures and moves forward as technology advances and not to stay in the ancient days of just doing the same old thing. The greatest concern, of course, would be leadership and the need to have someone committed to making a department function as a group and not as individuals. There is no I in team, and we all need to work together to excel and do the best job possible for the department, Judson ISD, and the students. So this describes the maintenance department. So I would like to just publicly tonight say thank you to Mr. Yocklin for improving our department and just bringing light to the department again. Thank you.
Thank you. Patrick Alvarado, did I say it right? Patrick? Mackey Schooling, Patrick? You're way back in the corner. Acevedo, I'm sorry. It's hard to read the writing, I'm sorry.
I'm not sure if you guys have received the list there yet, or has it been handed to? Okay. Thank you for the time here today. I'm here to talk about the naming of Mackey High School. I represent over 2,300 signatures that are on the petition. Students, faculty, taxpayers of the district expressed their objection to your decision of naming of the high school. Choices were made, whatever the reason, and now you have the choice to change that. I'm officially asking for all names received by the school to be made public. Sorry, a little nervous. And also the number of each names that were cast. You see, it's not the name that goes, it's not only what goes on and in the school, which is very important, but also the name on the building. Let's let the dust settle after Mackey era before we go naming the school after him. I'm just going to leave you with one more thing. One of the basic things that's taught to children in school is to learn from your mistakes and to not be afraid to change. I ask you to please listen to your constituents and make the change. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris Pryor? Chris?
How you doing, Board? Dr. Montoya, Mr. Fields. I come here to speak on two issues. First, I want to welcome Ms. Salinas and Ms. Pichelle to the board. Great father, loved your father. So I had to say that. But I want to talk on the new high school. I'm kind of against the grain here. I was at a basketball game and me and a parent were talking about why the new high school shouldn't be named after Dr. Mackey. And his son said, why not? And I thought about it. I didn't like the way Dr. Mackey did some of my friends. I didn't like the way he did some of the staff. But what I did like, when I looked at some of his accomplishments with JECA, he had JECA, he had the, what was the other one? No, the STAR. I'm talking about the STAR. What he did when leading the troops as far as the STAR. One of three school districts in the city to pass the STAR. Dr. Mackey educated our kids. He kept them safe. And to me, he balanced the budget. I mean, y'all had told me that in the past. So I personally thank the board for naming it Mackey High.
Thank you. Tanja Coleman.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity tonight to speak on the naming of the new high school. My name is Taja Coleman, again, and I graduated as salutatorian of the Wagner class of 2010. I'm proud to be a Thunderbird, in large part due to the courageous woman my alma mater is named after. Lieutenant Colonel Karen Wagner exemplified everything great about Judson ISD. She was educated, kind, hardworking, and above all, she had a genuine care and compassion for the people around her. My interactions with Dr. Mackey as a student showed me the exact opposite. I never once got the impression that he cared about the students or faculty. He ruled not through strong leadership, but through fear and intimidation. He regularly spoke to students, including myself, with suspicion, contempt, and disdain. And he drove away many quality educators who did truly care about their students. I understand that Dr. Mackey contributed to our rise in test scores and other successful initiatives, but we cannot forget that success shouldn't necessarily be measured in scores on a test. I strongly believe that Dr. Mackey did not contribute to a positive environment of growth and learning. It would be an insult to have him share an honor with Karen Wagner, a woman who led by example and actually sought to connect with people and help them on a personal level. Contrary to what Mr. Sawyer claimed in his recent letter on the issue, the name on the building does matter. Ask any Thunderbird what they think of Karen Wagner and her incredible sacrifice. Any student would be proud to continue her legacy of courage, strength, and honor. So the question I leave you with is this: how can any future Judson students be proud to bear the Mackey name when its legacy largely consists of intimidation and dubious ethical decisions? I ask this board to please reconsider awarding Dr. Mackey this honor that he does not deserve, and choose a name that our future students can be proud of. Thank you.
Scott and Jennifer, I'm going to say it right, Feltley? Did I say it right? F-E-L-T-Y? Did I say it right? Felty, I'm sorry. I put an extra L in there.
Good evening. Thank you for letting us cruise. I will remove it when we are all through. It is never too late to do the right thing. Please rename the new high school. I emailed all of the board members today as well as the superintendent. I also commented on the J blog. This is an important blog. This is on our district website for anyone to see that visits our website. At 4 o'clock today, there were 90 comments on there. Only 4 supported Dr. Mackey. Here are some of the words that described our former superintendent. These are taken and you published them on the website, so I should be able to share them tonight. He was described as bully mentality, belittled people, black eye to the community, Demeaning, divisive, destroyed morale, that's a biggie. Egotistic, horrible reputation. Humiliated people. He was intimidating. Intimidation tactics on employees. Ignorant, lacked professionalism. Mackey's lackeys, overbearing, conceited speeches, tyrant leadership, and he yelled at people. He yelled at teachers. And he had very weak social skills, according to some. There's lots of anger in those comments, and the board needs to read all those comments because that's your community speaking directly to you. Number 42, Ken on J-Blog said, your decision shows a pure lack of honesty and transparency and utter failure in leadership as representatives. Number 50 said, everyone makes mistakes, but this is one that can be easily fixed, and it will show that the board has its community at heart and not themselves. 68 said, we worked beneath him. He made it clear that was our position. Number 73 said, we will vote against the bond in the spring unless the name is changed from the current one. That really concerned me. Number 74 was a former employee and retired. She says she feels sorry for Steve Linscomb, who is paid to defend the decisions and try to make this look nice. She also said that the kind of leader who goes to a faculty meeting for the first time and calls these teachers in the faculty meeting prissy white women. She feels sorry for them. Taxpayers said he's ruled by fear, not by leadership. Connie from Converse said, we will be voting for 5 new board members, and it's guaranteed. Number 82, resident and taxpayer is in all caps, very angry, said we will never support the bond nor
30
reject.
30 seconds, ma'am. 30 seconds.
Respect the board members again. Eric said Steve Linscomb's defense of the school board decision is really pathetic. He tries to justify their terrible decision. All of this again on the website. My husband, Scott.
Under board member representatives, it says prior to each meeting, trustees receive extensive background materials on agenda items. By studying this information, board members come to the meeting prepared to cast informed votes that will benefit the district students and employees. I'm sure this is true for many agenda items, but is not apparent in the name of the new high school. On September 23rd of this year, there was a special board meeting. On the agenda was to consider and take possible
3 minutes,
actions
sir.
regarding board
3
goals
minutes.
for this
Time's
year.
up.
He has 3 minutes also. We both signed up.
I have 2 more
You
sentences.
signed up together. Go ahead, I'll give you the rest of the time. Go
Again,
ahead.
it's never
3
too
minutes. Go
late to
ahead.
do the right thing to return the trust to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Jackie Freeman. Jackie?
Good evening, Board. I'd like to address the change of the name for the new high school on Evans Road. As a taxpayer in the Judson District, I am protesting loudly the naming of the new high school on Evans Road after Dr. Mackey. I find it a disgrace to name the high school after this man who made very few, if any, positive contributions to this once desirable school district during his tenure as superintendent. I was a witness to his lack of professional judgment while he used offensive remarks during individual campus early morning faculty meetings. It was in these meetings that Dr. Mackey walked about the front of the assembled faculty and pointed his finger at various teachers while saying, "You prissy little white girls," as he related a story from his schooling in a reading class. He also tossed out Paco sitting in the corner and Jew boy. We sat in stunned silence as he continued to laugh and tell his tale. The next year, I had threatened to stand up and call him out on these insulting remarks, but I was strongly advised to remain seated and say nothing. Again, the same prissy little white girl's remark was said, and the same story was told. I sat quietly, but I'm not going to sit quietly tonight. I am not the only teacher in the district that heard these remarks, nor his tale, and I was not the only one that witnessed his belittling and embarrassing comments directed at particular school campuses and their administrators during district convocation for the tax at the time, the scores that were not above acceptable. He led with intimidation and bullying tactics, not a quality one would want as a desirable district leader. I've read the many comments posted on the Facebook page for Judson when the announcement came out about the decision. Some mentioned the same remarks that I have stated here. There are many other unprofessional comments that I will not repeat here that have been heard by campus faculty that are current, but for fear of retaliation, they stay silent. How sad that their voice cannot be heard and will not be heard because they fear the lack of job security for voicing honest opinions about this situation. If the school board does not reconsider the decision to name the new high school after Mackey, I will not support nor vote yes for any school board bond that is presented to the Judson taxpayers. I will also campaign in my neighborhood to vote no on any school bond that is presented. Also know that my elderly parents would have signed that petition on Facebook had they had an account, and they are ready to cast their no votes to any bond proposal presented to taxpayers if the new high school is named after Dr. Mackey. Again, I implore upon each of you that supported and voted to name the new high school after Dr. Mackey to consider your choice and reconsider it. Please consider the names you have been previously given, you, the board, and select a name that will bring honor to the school because the content of their character and the contributions the individuals made to the district are worthy of bestowing the honor of naming a high school for that individual. Thank you.
Adrian Brassfield.
Good evening, all. My name is Adrian Brassfield, and I am a graduate of Judson High School, class of 1997, and a JISD taxpayer and voting member of this community. I'm not normally big on public speaking, but felt compelled to do so when I read the news on the new high school name. When my husband and I moved back into the district and built a home in the Bridlewood Park subdivision in Live Oak, I was so excited that my children would attend my alma mater, even though we hadn't started a family yet. Now, with 2 small children at home, we understood the need for the new high school, even though they would eventually attend school there instead of Judson. We have been eager to hear what it would be named, as the previous board did such an amazing job in naming Wagner High School, a name to truly be proud of. I do not personally know Dr. Willis Mackey, but I have friends and neighbors that have worked directly with or for him or had children attend school in this district during his tenure. Their comments, along with the community backlash that your decision has created, is enough for me to know that you all have made a mistake. We all make mistakes, but you all have the power to fix yours. The choices should be put to a vote by us, the taxpayers. Give us your top 3 that meet the criteria that you all provided, and let us, your constituents, make the decision. Listen to the community, the ones who voted you in to make the right decisions on our behalf. If the naming stands, I hope that you have enjoyed your time on this board, as I and countless others will not be voting for you during re-election. The community is begging you, make this right, and let us pick a name for the school that we can be proud to send our kids to, just like Judson and Wagner. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Michaels. George Michaels.
Good evening. Talked with you all, I think about a month ago. And I'm here to talk about the name of the new high school on Evans Road. And I strongly urge you to reconsider what you have given the name to. I mentioned to you the last time the gentleman that I thought this school should be named after, and that was Mr. Parsley, who was the principal at Judson for many years. He was an administrator for 20-plus years at Kirby and at Kitty Hawk and at Judson High School. He went through a difficult time at Judson, going from about 2,500 students to over 4,000 students. We went through a block schedule, and he saw some things here that could be done, and he was innovative. He realized that our students who were getting out at 2:20 in the afternoon gave an opportunity for students who were in vocational programs, in welding, in body shop, carpentry. I don't know how else to say it. Those ladies and gentlemen who were in hairdressers and so forth. That gave them an opportunity to go out into the community and work and get a job. And some of them use that stepping stone to further their own career. We even have some of our secretaries and receptionists here in Judson Independent School District who got a start doing that through the business department and working in various departments at Judson High School. And they are still working in Judson. He had the foresight to see what technology was coming with computers and so forth. He started the multimedia program here at Judson. He started something that gave students an opportunity. It's called J-Rock TV. He saw the need for computer classes, and the business department changed tremendously during that period of time. State and national recognition awards during his leadership here are numerous, and it's just not in athletics. It's in co-curricular and other extracurricular. It's in band, it's in cheerleading, it's in choir, it was in FFA. All sorts of programs won underneath his leadership. And not to mention that Judson was also a National Blue Ribbon School. Okay? Thank you for your time. I hope you do rescind your previous vote. And thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Wayne Harper.
Good evening, members of the Board of Trustees, Mr. Sawyer, Dr. Montoya. I came here tonight mostly, I thought about it, whether or not I was going to speak or not, and I said, well, if I didn't speak tonight, then it would be pretty much, I'll be with the majority silent, not speaking out how I felt about the issue. I had a long day today, okay. I'm trying to keep myself together, but I'm pretty good. But I've heard people cry out about things. I spent about 22 years in the military, and I know a lot about leadership. I know about how leaders lead, and they all have their different way they lead. I know about dignity and respect, because everybody deserves dignity and respect, regardless. But sometimes people take things out of context and they take them the wrong way. We had a great leader, Dr. Mackey, and he did a lot of great things for the district. And if a lot of folks would have been here on the 16th of September, they would have heard all those great things. But their schedules didn't fit their schedule, and it wasn't important to them. We got two things that are important to us. That's our time and that's our money. And both of those things Dr. Mackey gave up in this district. He gave thousands of dollars to the foundation. We went over a whole bunch of things that Dr. Mackey did in this district and talked about it. But tonight, people want to get up and talk about Dr. Mackey, what he didn't do for them, or what he didn't do, or what they think he didn't do. If you were here and part of this district, you saw this district grow. This is a new Judson. It's not the same. It's not with the JAG group, the Judson Accountability Group that was here to squash every bond and things that happened within the district. We lost a bond when I was on the board. But Dr. Mackey passed a bond for a new school without a tax increase. Something that's never happened in Judson, and we know that. And it probably never, ever will happen again in Judson. But I tell you this, he was an outstanding leader, and we had many accomplishments. You can't take that away. But you can get up here and you can bash him about his leadership style. We don't bash people about their leadership style when they're getting the job done. They work on that. It's a process, and we grow with that. Out of kindness, we work together. We have to be positive. We have to be a group, and we have to be we and us, not I and you. And that's what I've heard of you all night, about I and you, about how I felt this way. I feel a lot of things every day, but today I made it through this day, because this was a hard day for me. I work at Wagner High School, and I had a great day. We accomplished what we had to accomplish today, regardless, because we were a team led with great leadership. We didn't question what our leaders asked us to do today. We did it. From the top, from the superintendent to our principal. Whatever they said to us today, we did it. And we put up with a lot. Phone calls from parents or whatever, beating down our doors, media, whatever. We did it, and we stood our ground. And we stood our ground with Dr. Mackey for many years. And he led us as well. Thank you for your time, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. Okay. Marilyn Joplin, Ms. Joplin? Mr. Joplin, I'm sorry. I didn't recognize you.
Thank you, guys.
Marlon.
Giving respect to the board, everybody that's in here today. I'm here on behalf of keeping the school name Dr. Willis Mackey. I seen the blogs, I see the social media. I feel like that doesn't bear weight. You guys go on there and, throw things out there, whether it's negative or positive. That's not true, like he said. September 16th was the day to be here. I feel like the board made the best decision. The man accomplished a lot. 3 minutes don't give me a lot of time to sit here and go through a list of 50 that I got. The free food for the kids, the breakfast, the budget being doubled from 24 to 40 plus million. He done tremendous things. And what I'm hearing here is personal attacks on this gentleman of bullying and stuff like that, but I'm hearing the same bullying that they're claiming come to the board. If you don't change it, we're not voting you in. If you don't change it, we're stopping the bond. Like, it's hypocritical. So it's almost like, that's not what it's about. This man accomplished a lot over the 7 years that he was in. I have several kids. I have a nonprofit organization, Youth on Fire, with plenty of kids and parents that can come out and speak up, that can come out and sign the same petitions that people are going against, that they'll be for. So it's been tremendous things that's going on today at Wagner High School and stuff like that. Not putting any blame on anybody because ignorance is of the beholder, but those things didn't happen. Getting more police officers and giving them adequate equipment to handle things of that nature has been a great benefit to the district. I've only lived in Judson District for 10 years, but all my kids grow up in it, and they all are successful and had no issues with the regime that Dr. Mackey had. I feel it's a great honor. I always tell all of our kids, you're going to get criticism no matter what in life. People are going to be judgmental. Looking at that, you have to take it with a grain of salt, good or the bad. But the ones that you really want to respect are the ones that work side by side with you. Those are the ones that you take what they're saying, whether you're a good, teammate or a good person. Those are the people that are closer to you. And the board voted for that name to be there. That's an honor. That's a living legend. I'm here to say that me and everybody that's supporting on my end, you guys did the right thing. Keep it that way. If you do change it, we're not going to not vote you in. We voted you in because we felt you were the best for the position. If the bond is something that's going to benefit the community, either whether it stayed Dr. Mackey or not, we're going to go for what's right. We're not just going to say, hey, you did that. It's not it. That's called bullying. What Dr. Mackey did is not bullying. He was a respectful man. Thank you.
Thank you. Tina Falvey, did I say it right?
Good evening. I am a 1987 Judson High School graduate. I am now a special education teacher. I teach kids with special needs. I have started in Harlandale ISD. I went to Northside ISD. I'm currently in Northeast ISD. I still have close ties to friends who are also teachers, members of the community. I'm also still a Judson taxpayer. I come to you this evening on the name of the new high school. For all these years that I have been an educator, I just started my 9th year. I intentionally not applied to Judson ISD because of the reputation that I have heard about Dr. Mackey. Naming a school is a very serious calling. The legacy of that name is forever. I strongly urge you, the board, to reconsider. I always tell my kids every day, make a good choice. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read. Cammie Davies Curley. Am I close? Am I close? Close enough. Okay, thanks. All right.
Good evening, and thank you for letting me speak. The naming of a school is very important. I graduated from Douglas MacArthur High School in Northeast District, but I've lived in Judson for 30 years, and my son graduated from Judson High School. I wouldn't live anywhere else. I am so proud of this district. I loved living here. I've seen so many wonderful things happen, so much growth. However, I have had some run-ins with Superintendent Mackey, and I'm not going to get into the particulars. I'm not going to do any mudslinging. And I'm also not sure that threatening to say no to every bond is the answer. But I do think it's important that you reconsider naming the school. He doesn't have any ties to our community. And no, I wasn't here on the 16th when y'all did vote for the name. But I have friends that are teachers that have attended meetings where he has used very derogatory names, and that's not a leader. And I don't think that you should name a school after someone who does not motivate you, who rules by tyranny, who scares the teachers and administrators, and who causes divisiveness with the constituents and the board. And I would hate to see this dissension cause our children to suffer with the threats of we're not going to pass any more bonds. I just don't think that's the answer. But I really wish you would reconsider, because the name is so important. And I graduated from a wonderful school, and Douglas MacArthur was a wonderful man, and I'm so proud of where I graduated from, but I'm so proud of where I live and wouldn't be anywhere else. So thank you so much for letting me speak.
Joy Allgate. Joy, Miss Allgate.
Good evening. My name is Joy Allgate. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. My husband and I are both retired military. We have lived in Judson ISD for 25 years. Both of our sons attended and graduated from Judson schools. I am a teacher in Judson ISD. When I first heard the school board had decided to name our new high school after Dr. Mackey, I was stunned. Then I was angry. I appreciate the fact that the school board solicited names from the community. I have no idea how many names were proposed from the citizens of Judson ISD. However, I assume some of those names were of former or retired educators in the district, people who taught kids for many years. I also assume Judson graduates' names were submitted, perhaps some of our young men and women who serve their country. I believe some of our graduates made the ultimate sacrifice for all Americans by laying down their lives for this great nation. I find it inconceivable that Dr. Mackey's name was chosen above names of educators and military heroes. One of the reasons given for choosing Dr. Mackey's name for the new high school was that he improved test scores within the district. I can honestly tell you that Dr. Mackey didn't improve test scores. Students, parents, and teachers improved test scores. When Dr. Mackey was our superintendent, teacher morale was at an all-time low. I sadly watched great teachers retire, resign, or move to other districts because of Dr. Mackey's bullying of employees and strong-arm tactics. I would like to remind the school board that another bond will have to be floated soon to cover the costs of an auditorium and sports fields at the new high school. Our district continues to get larger and larger. More schools will need to be built to educate all the new students moving into our district. We, the citizens of Judson ISD, have long memories, unfortunately, maybe. It took many years for us to trust the school district after bond money was spent renovating, so-called renovating the football bleachers, when in fact an entire new stadium was built to include a new scoreboard and locker room. By the way, I am not a sports hater. My husband and I are season ticket holders, and we go to all the Judson football games, and we love it. Please remember that you need us, the citizens of Judson ISD, to vote for any upcoming school bonds. Please listen to the good people of Judson ISD. Name the new high school after someone all of us, students, parents, and employees can be proud of. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, ma'am. Stephanie Faulkner. Ms. Faulkner.
Good evening. My name is Stephanie Faulkner. I'm a Judson graduate, 1987. I just also happen to be the Mayor Pro Tem for the City of Kirby. So I am here tonight to talk to you as an elected official. I understand the enormous weight that the board bears in making decisions. Often we go with our heart, or we go with what we feel is good for the community. But it's our duty to honor the requests and speak for the community that we represent. Often it means going against our own wants and wishes. I believe that the outcry of this community is that the name chosen for the new high school does not depict what the community wants. I believe the community wants the trend to continue in naming the schools after past educators or alumni who have been deemed heroes. I had the honor last May to read a proclamation from the city of Kirby for one of the 3 retiring educators at Hopkins Elementary. And by the way, this gentleman was my 5th grade teacher. He also wrote my letter of recommendation for Southwest Texas. Together, these 3 educators gave this district combined 70+ years of service after attending Kirby Elementary as students themselves. Now, as an educator, I'm also a special education teacher. This speaks to my heart. Nothing lowers the morale of a school district than knowing that no matter how hard you work or how many years you dedicate yourself, the important stuff will never be yours to have, such as buildings named after you. These are the on-the-ground, hands-in-the-dirt people who make the district tick. Not the administrators sitting in an office somewhere making phone calls, attending meetings, and signing policies with their fancy pen. The district needs to recognize the hard work and dedication of the little people who keep the day-to-day operations moving. As an alumni, I'm very proud to speak of schools such as Salinas, Wagner, Hopkins, and Pichelle. Even Rutledge Stadium is something to speak of as a Judson graduate. My favorite, though, is the L.C. Jordan Library that the board prior to you, after the May election, named at Kirby Middle School. L.C. Jordan happens to be my grandmother. She was the librarian who established the library at Kirby Middle School. So I know that you have the heart for this. Students and staff have something to speak about when they're asked where they work or what school they attend. What is going to be spoken about the chosen name for the new high school? One of my final thoughts is as a mother of 2 students currently attending Wagner High School, and please forgive me, but this has been a very emotional day. How dare you name a school after a man who gave this district less than 10 years of his career, when there are staff members leaving their families every day to care for my children for 8 to 10 hours a day, not knowing if they will return home because someone, any one of those staff members, would put themselves in front of a shooter to save my child. As I received the text messages today from my crying daughter stating that she was so scared, I had to ask her who she was with. She let me know that she was with her coach. So the teacher in me stepped up and I assured her that her coach was trained and would keep her safe. But then as I received the text from my son, who's an 18-year-old, stating that he was frightened beyond belief, He explained to me
3 minutes.
that Mr. Stewart, and I promised Mr. Stewart that I would mention this, Mr. Stewart personally grabbed him and took him in his office to lock him down and make sure that he was safe. Having nothing to do with his own safety, he made sure every student in that building was safe today. And finally, I just want you to know as a taxpayer, my vote counts. I'm sorry. It's been very emotional
It's been a rough
today.
day for Wagner.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cherie Call, Ms. Call, Cherie.
Thank you so much for your time this evening. I've lived in the Judson Independent School District for 25 years, and I believe that having a new high school named after you is a really tremendous honor. The school district has been in existence, this particular school district, for over 57 years. There are many fine men and women who have worked here and dedicated their lives to the education and success of students for years. I do not think we should take the naming of the new high school lightly. I think in an effort to foster goodwill in this community, every effort should be made to come up with a name that the majority of the populace agrees upon. The fact that there has been such disharmony surrounding the previous choice should give us all pause, and taking a step back to reflect on that reaction is healthy, and it's the right thing to do. Think about all of the educators, administrators, and students that have gone through the doors of the Judson Independent School District schools over the past many years. I think we need to name this school after someone who dedicated their career to the end of educating those students. I thought about the lady Bonnie Schultz, who's deceased, who started Project Graduation and ran it for over 20 years. She has a library named after her. That's all. But look at the time and the energy that she put into that. I thought of Loretta Carter, who was a teacher, a principal, an assistant superintendent in the school district. She turned Kirby Middle School around when she was there. She was a tremendous leader. I thought about Coach David Brothers, who was a standout running back at Texas A&M, who's coached in this school district as long as I've been here. He was my son's coach. Tremendous man, hardworking man, who believes in the kids and loves them. I thought about Roy Wallace, football coach, athletic director. These are good men and women. These are people who've dedicated their lives, pretty much, to educating our children. These are the type of people that I would like to have the school named after. Then there are all of the students, the alumni, that have made a tremendous difference in our world. Their accomplishments are many, and the scope is very varied with what they've done. There are local heroes, past and present, that draw our attention. To do the job of naming our school, the third high school in Judson Independent School District Justice, I think we should do our research. I think several people here tonight have mentioned gathering that information that we have already gathered and putting it out there, maybe picking the top 3 and taking a vote on those names. I apologize I wasn't at your September 16th meeting. I had no idea it was taking place. I would love to have been here then. Now, I would like to say this. I'd like to think that the concerns and wishes of over 2,300 people in this school district are important to all of you. These people vote, they pay taxes, they have children in this community that they educate, and I think it's important that we listen to them, and I hope we do the right things. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Kimberly Aldridge.
Good evening, board members. By now, all of you know who I am. There is no need for an introduction, but I will let you know that I have lived in the district my entire life. I would like to talk to you again about the naming of the new high school. When selecting a name for a school, it should be about the history and everything that Judson ISD has grown to become. The name that was chosen and voted on is unacceptable to me and a lot of citizens of this community. I am sure there are more acceptable names on the list to choose from. For example, Eddie Parsley, who was the principal at Judson High School for many years, Jim Rackley, who was a winning football coach, or James Talley, who is a retired Judson ISD teacher, both whom have influenced many students over the decades. I do not feel the use of Dr. Mackey's name is appropriate. I did not think he was a good leader. He is a very judgmental, and in my opinion, not a very pleasant or very fair person. Never once have I ever seen him support anything at Wagner High School, such as band, cheerleading, football. I have even had Wagner graduates come up to me and say, after I spoke to you in September, I never knew who Dr. Mackey was until I got to graduation. That is very sad. Others may say that Mackey was good for our district. I'm sorry, I do not share their opinion. Some of the board members that I originally spoke with after sending every one of you an email told me that this was a dead issue and I was wasting my time. And that there was nothing that I or anybody could do to turn this around. So I should just be quiet and go away. I'm sorry, I'm here, I'm not going away. Please put this back on the agenda and reconsider your vote to reflect the voice of the people that put you in the seat that you are sitting in right now. Some of you in 2017, your seat is up for a re-election. Don't get too comfortable because somebody may come along and you might find yourself not sitting in the seat that you're sitting in now. Thank you.
I want to call a point of order. There was a threat.
Okay.
That was an open threat. Call it a point of order.
Okay. Lisa Pfeiffer, Miss Pfeiffer.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lisa Pfeiffer. I live at 7331 Longing Trail, and I thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. But wow, I am very impressed with what I'm hearing tonight from the public, because I know people have been staying away from this place for a while, and I think it's a good thing that this event has at least happened to energize the people in the district again. I want to talk about the article that was in the Herald last week that a young girl earlier referenced. And all it seemed was like about a bunch of jibber jabber to basically tell the community how you bamboozled them. That's what I took away from it. However, I did read the article, even though I was kind of put off by it. And in the last portion, like the last sentence, it talked about the name on the building not being important. Well, I guess you were wrong there too, because obviously the people here tonight feel that the name on that building is very important to them and to the legacy of this district. I just ask that you continue to listen tonight and you honor the community's wishes. And I would also like you to possibly, not that any of these people have brought up people that aren't considerate for the naming, but I also wanted to just chime in for the recently passed Giles Babb, that you may want to possibly consider him as well. Thank you and have a great night.
Gary Gibbs. Mr. Gibbs.
I'm always a yes voter on the bond issues. I think I voted for the swimming pool even.
You're about the only one.
I'm here to speak in opposition to the naming of the high school. There's differences of opinion. Dr. Mackey, you obviously thought he was doing a good job. There's many people up here thought he did a good job. He was paid to do a good job. He was paid a lot of money to do a good job. Dr. Montoya, you're not working for nothing, are you? No, of course not. So the criteria for naming a high school should be higher than doing a good job. When the board picked Wagner High School to be named Wagner High School, I mean, I was proud of that. I tell my relatives, I tell everybody I know, who they named that school after. And all I'm saying is, I'm asking you, find another Karen Wagner. They are out there. That's my only point. Thank you.
mess this one up too. Susan Canoyer? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I left up last time. I know who you are now. Welcome.
I was here
You were here.
at the
Yes, you were.
September
You were
meeting.
the one of the
And
few who were
unfortunately,
here.
I went first because my remarks would have been very different had I spoken after some other people. I wanted to be positive and provide the name of someone that we could all be proud of. Wished I'd been able to go last because the decision you made is wrong. 2,200 people have signed a petition. That's more people that voted in the last 2 board elections combined. You need to reconsider. Dr. Mackey did not do all the things that he's gotten credit for. He did not start JECA. He was simply the superintendent when it came to fruition. Dr. Nelson was behind that, and it came out of an idea from the district site-based committee. I'm frankly just astonished that you're surprised about the problem here, because you couldn't wait to get rid of Dr. Mackey. He has not retired. You're still paying him his, let me see, what's that salary? $218,363.56 until next June. You're paying him to stay away. At the same time, we're paying Dr. Montoya. I assume you're being paid because I can't imagine anybody doing that for free. I was, during my time in Judson, a curriculum specialist at the ERC. I was the elementary English language arts specialist, and I attended leaders' meetings that Dr. Mackey ran. During those meetings, he was derogatory, he was divisive, he was arrogant, and he was frankly ugly to our district's leaders. There was one particular leaders meeting where he called all the principals down to the front, and then he says to them, "See what I just did? I moved the failures to the front." And for an hour, he berated them. That is not what a leader does. I was fortunate. The ELA scores have been very good in Judson thanks to the hard-working teachers. So I flew under the radar, and I was not attacked by Dr. Mackey, but my coworkers were. Called over to his office, berated, yelled at. Every single one of us, the first time we met Dr. Mackey, was threatened with losing our jobs. That's a great howdy do. The problem with the system is that people who submitted names for the vote thought they were voting. They thought that the majority of the names that were submitted, that's what y'all were going to look at. That night, you looked at 2 names. 2. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to be a member of a district where the school is being named for this superintendent. I am a voter. I'm a homeowner in the district, and I did almost my whole teaching career here in Judson. I understand. Can I have 1 more minute, please?
No, can't have another minute. 3 minutes, everybody gets 3 minutes.
I voted for every single bond election, including the one that failed, that was a backlash against the board that did
Ma'am,
the
your 3
stadium
minutes are
deal,
up. Your
but
3
I will
minutes.
not vote for a future board election, and I will tell my
Your
friends,
3
my
minutes are up,
neighbors, my
ma'am.
coworkers, and they listen to retired teachers.
Thank you. Bobby Stensenberger? Mr. Stensenberger?
Oh, I'm back. I've been out a while. 8 teachers and 2 administrators contacted me privately saying, please come speak, tell these people what's going on, and please try to convince them of a better decision. Even today, Judson ISD teachers had meetings and said they should not, under any circumstances, badmouth the district in this meeting. Don't be heard, even if you know there's problems, keep your mouth shut. That was the regime of Dr. Mackey. I'm an 89 graduate of Judson. I had 40 plus years as a taxpayer was the voice of the Rockets for 19 years, co-founder of the Metrocom Youth Association and Judson Youth Sports Foundation. Over 5,000 kids, including 2 NBA players and 2 NFL players, played in my organizations. I know the pulse of this community. I met with Dr. Mackey, tried to tell him the pulse of the community. He likes Crown, okay? I bought it for him. I thought we had a good meeting, but it went on deaf ears. William Paschel, leader, motivator, inspirer, unifier. I love the man. I even got to ride in the white Cadillac that the students and the teachers gifted him. Eddie Parsley, respected throughout the state and the community, a Judson ISD principal for nearly 30 years, including the heyday of Judson High School, and well-respected local referee. He was always there for the kids. He belongs right there in the conversation with Rutledge, Arnold, and Rackley, but he's not. Why? I don't know. We're not paying attention. William Took, he fought in World War II, in the Korean War. After he retired from the military, he became a teacher and a coach at Judson for nearly 30 years. He built and ran South Texas AAU for nearly 40 years, affecting tens of thousands of kids. And to this day, the meets are held at Judson because of Colonel Took. It is well known that the employees of Judson ISD that Dr. Mackey led through intimidation and fear. He took advantage of his position to demean, ridicule, humiliate, destroy, discourage, reassign, run off, and even fire hundreds of good teachers, administrators, and employees. He brought the morale of this district to the lowest level it's ever been. You have a great position, Mr. Montoya, because anybody that followed was going to be appreciated and welcomed. He made many teachers ashamed of being a part of Judson anymore. One of the most talked about and revisited subjects over and over again, if any of you watch the news, is bullying. How do we stop bullying? We're supposed to be working hard as a society to stop bullying in our schools, right? That's what we need to do. Kids do it. So what do we do as a Judson ISD school board?
3 minutes,
We decide to honor
3 minutes, sir.
a well-known bully.
Sir, 3 minutes.
The message is clear to the kids.
Sir, 3 minutes.
Bullying pays off and even honored.
Sir,
Bad decision.
3 minutes.
Fix it.
Your time is up. Thank you. I'm cutting them off. Samuel Beckham? Beckham?
This has been interesting. Good evening, board and everyone here. Glad to see that everyone came out. I'm going to kind of go in a little different direction. I will say just a few comments about this whole issue with Dr. Mackey. The only thing I can say about that is when I had an issue, it was when we had the coaching change, when Coach Smith decided to leave. I contacted the board with my concerns. I contacted the AD, Mr. Miller, and somehow my messages got to Dr. Mackey. I had several board members who personally contact me, give me their personal cell phone numbers, and actually Dr. Mackey actually called me at my home. He called me. So I see that there's two sides to this story, you know, with administrators and different things, and I mean, that's what I can say about the man. He did contact me to address my concerns. Several board members contacted me. Mr. Miller pulled me to the side and talked to me one-on-one, so I was very appreciative of that. But the thing that I wanted to talk about tonight, there seems to be, when I look at this, I've been in this district for 10 years. I'm originally from Alabama. I'm also a military retiree. I did 23 years. And I could have moved anywhere in San Antonio, but I chose to move into the Judson School District. It was just something about the school district when I first came here. The people, they're very friendly, the family type atmosphere. And what I want to encourage the board to try to do, if you don't have this mechanism in place, is something that we used to do in the military, you know, sensing sessions, where you reach out in a controlled environment to your employees, administrators, teachers, whatever, constituents, and you let them speak. You give them a set of questions, or you just let them write a few general comments, and then you take those and you see the pulse of your community. And you do this without people signing their names, because what I'm hearing here is a lot of people that are afraid to speak out. I have friends and very close friends, grounds crew, teachers, and I asked a lot of them, are you coming tonight? And almost to a person, they said no. They can't come. They're afraid to come. And that's not right. We should be able to come as adults and speak and be able to speak our mind, whether it's something you want to hear or not. Just say it in a very respectful way. I mean, some of the things have been kind of harsh here. I mean, I think you can get your point across and say what you need to say if you say it in a very respectful way. But you have employees who are afraid to come and speak out and to say how they feel. And I think that the board needs to come up with some type of mechanism, some type of way to reach out to your constituents, your taxpayers, and see how they feel about these things. I know we have these meetings, but like the gentleman said, everybody can't come. You know, people have to work and stuff. So I would just encourage the board to do that, and I have confidence that you will. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Laura Leakey. Ms. Leakey, Laura.
Good evening. I may be out of line. I don't know anything too much about Dr. Mackey, but if I was just sitting here listening today and my daughter's here, I heard a lot of negative things, and it's just been bad. But anyway, I'm here because of the Wagner situation. I thank God that my daughter was not at school today, because had she been there, I would have been very upset. And my worries are about, and I hear people talk about Carol Wagner and Judson, but we are in the Judson School District. She should be at Judson, but I chose for her to go to Wagner. And I've heard everybody say negative about Wagner. You're talking all about this new school, but Wagner is your stepchild. So I think that we should do more for Wagner. And what I want to know is, what are you going to do to prove to me that my child is going to be safe? She doesn't want to go to school tomorrow, and I can understand that, and it's hard for me. I had a son that graduated from Judson. I had one graduated from the Northside School District, but I've never went through this. And it's just I'm retired, my husband retired military, and we're very concerned about the safety of my child. And for the first 2 years, Hannah was not really happy with Wagner because of the negative that we got from her. But I can tell you now, she's really enjoying Wagner, and she's having a great time. And if people will look at it, we have great kids at Wagner, but everybody wants to down Wagner, and you're talking, you're all about the new school, and you're talking about Karen Wagner is good, but you're saying it in here, but out there are a lot of people that are saying a lot of bad things about Karen Wagner. So I just ask you all to pray for Wagner, pray for those kids tomorrow. As much energy that you have put in tonight about that new school, and what you talked about, Dr. Mackey, you pray for those kids tomorrow that's going to have to face whatever they have to face. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. England. I've known Mr. England 30 years. We were both skinny once in 1980 in Germany.
Carl's were in Germany. We were both sergeants. I was a drug and alcohol counselor. He was a medic. I'm also, well, first off, I've got this nice little speech right now. Mr. President and members of the Judson ISD Board of Trustees, let me first say thank you for your complete volunteer service to the citizens, taxpayers, employees, and above all else, the students of Judson ISD. Now let me say that I am not in the habit of attending meetings of the JISD board. I live in Universal City, not Converse. Judson ISD is more than just the city of Converse. Judson ISD encompasses all of Kirby, all of Converse, about 2/3 of Universal City, part of Live Oak, part of Selma, part of Schertz, part of San Antonio, and parts of so far unincorporated Bexar County. I might also say that as someone who has a master's degree in education and is certified as a principal, I had hoped to become an assistant principal and possibly a principal in the JISD, but after speaking here this evening, those slim hopes have most likely been dashed. However, some issues are too high of importance in which to remain silent. I speak before you this evening requesting the selection of some other name for the new high school. As a resident of Universal City, member of the Universal City City Council, parent of 2 Judson graduates, former chairman of the Judson ISD Construction and Building Oversight Committee, former member of the successful JISD bond issue that built the new Judson High School, and current economics teacher at Wagner High School, where it is safe. I can guarantee that. I'm a retired Army CID agent and a former police officer in Waverly, Iowa. I will take a bullet for a student. I would do it in the Army as I would have done it in the Army on a protective service activity with the Secretary of Defense or the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, because that was my job, and that is my job as a teacher. I'm supposed to protect students. I implore you to reconsider the name selection for the new high school. I have been able, since the arrival of the previous superintendent of the JISD, to watch and examine his behaviors. His behavioral choices make him an inappropriate role model for young people in the JISD, and his name should not grace any building in the JISD. Let me detail my reasons. In interpersonal and administrative interactions with employees and citizens, the previous superintendent came off as a bully. I recently discussed these behaviors with former JISD board member, Sergeant First Class Wayne Harper, who was a member of the JISD board that hired the most recent former superintendent. Sergeant Harper simply said that different people have different leadership styles. Nowhere in all my years reading professional leadership literature, nor having gone through leadership training in the military and in education, have I ever read where treating other professionals, non-professionals, and parents like a bully is an acceptable leadership choice. And by the way, JECA was planned long before Dr. Mackey got here. The most recent former superintendent, in his first meeting with Wagner High School faculty, came walking in with his arms crossed across his chest with a scowl on his face, strolling amongst the assembled faculty, looking all the world like someone trying to imitate Benito Mussolini. I surmised he was set on intimidating the Wagner faculty, not an appropriate choice for the name of the new high school. The previous superintendent spoke to the Wagner faculty, forcing us all to sit down front like we were in third grade. At that meeting, he displayed poor command of the English language by using the word physical when he should have used the word fiscal, as he was talking about monetary and school funding issues.
3 minutes, Tom.
That's 3?
Yes, sir.
Already?
Yeah, 3.5. I gave you 30 extra seconds.
I thought I was talking faster.
Because I know you.
I see that you have this issue on the agenda this evening, and I want to thank you for that. I strongly urge you to pick a more appropriate name for the new high school. I would recommend a non-controversial name like Roaring Creek or simply Evans Road High School. I would also recommend that you not name it England Memorial.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very good. Okay. We thank you for all your comments. We're going to go into closed session now. We have 3 sets of lawyers here that's been on the clock since 7 o'clock. So this board will now adjourn into closed session pursuant to the following sections of the Texas Open Meeting Act. Pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.076, discuss and consider deployment, development, specific occasion for, or implementation of security personnel or devices. B, pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071 and 551.0821, consultation with legal counsel, deliberation concerning requests made by student. C, pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071 and 551.072, consultation with legal counsel, deliberations concerning the purchase, exchange, lease, value of real property. D, pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074, consider and discuss possible resolution release agreement with an employee. E, pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074, discuss personnel. No final action or vote shall be taken while the board is in closed session. The board shall reconvene the open meeting after closed session if necessary. Any vote or decision will be made in open session prior to adjournment. We're going to adjourn at 8:25. Thank you.